can't sleep, so I feel like just talking. React to some of this game Grumps, because this particular video got me thinking.
It's so sad, man. They're gonna have a really hard life.
Well, they're probably dead.
Well,
Most
at least they got that going for them.
Yeah. Seriously.
How is that your silver lining?
What?
Don't worry, they're probably dead.
Well, they don't have to live with terrible lives.
Oh man. Here, hit continue and save.
Isn't that a Nine Inch Nails song? Terrible lives.
Close.
Okay.
Your terrible lie.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
These boys always make me laugh.
Yeah, those are fun.
I stepped on it.
I did it.
God, Luigi just looks so dead-faced. Like,
Life is truly nothing.
Life is nothing. Life is meaningless.
If only I could feel. Oh, Luigi. Things will get better, I promise.
oh,
Do they,
that's
though?
what you say.
It's true, he's gonna meet Daisy.
Oh, yeah.
Things are gonna work out for him.
If he hasn't already,
Oh, yeah.
probably thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
They're in their, like, pre-stages where they're just kind of like...
Yeah, they're just getting to know each other. Yeah.
She's
You're
like,
right.
do you like walnuts? And he's like, I'm fucking allergic to walnuts. And she's like, I don't like how he said that to me.
Oh, man.
I don't like
That
how
is
he
so
said that
true.
to me.
Like, in the first stages of meeting someone, like, you basically, like, all you have to go on is what you know. So you have, like, these, like, 5 little, like, facts about them and, like, things you know. And the rest you're just filling in the gaps. So if you like someone, like, you're filling in the gaps with good stuff. And you're like, oh, that person's perfect, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, it's also a chance for things to go horribly awry, like, super early, because you can just be like, oh, man, I love green tea ice cream.
And that's what gives me anxiety.
Green tea ice cream. Like, well, I hate you! What's wrong with green tea?
She's like, I like green tea, though. Oh, I hate green tea.
Yeah. Look, I think we should see other people.
This isn't gonna work out.
I think we should leave this ice cream shop.
Yeah. It's a historical statement. But the guy was like, when Columbus came to America with all of his sailors, he burned all of the ships that he came on, so no one would like fucking freak out and go back to England. So the idea is like, if you move to a new place, fucking cut all your ties back home. Just do your new life and fucking follow your dreams.
I've thought about doing that a lot.
That's similar to a Chinese proverb I used to really love. Well, I still love it, but it's a long-running Chinese proverb.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's a Chinese proverb. It's been around for probably several hundreds of years.
Is it burn your slips, referring to a Chinese laundromat? That was racist, I apologize.
I mean, there is a place, like, right near where we always go that's called Chinese Laundry.
Oh, the best.
So, I don't know.
And then that Bloodhound Gang lyric, I'm burning off steam. No, I'm blowing off steam like a Chinese laundromat. They were a ridiculous band.
No, it's the idea is that, like, so 2 men go to an island and, on boats, and one man keeps his boat in case he wants to leave, and the other one, uses it for firewood. And, like, the idea is that, like, you know, you just adapt to your surroundings and kind of forget the past and move forward. Those are Yoshi wings.
Oh.
Yeah, I've actually thought about just starting fresh somewhere, just dropping everything. It's something I've sort of fantasized about a lot, especially when I was younger. It was just starting somewhere new, completely fresh, clean slate. But then it's like, could you really let go of all the people you already know to start fresh in the hopes that you can meet people just as great or better? I don't know. It's not like I ever had that opportunity anyway, so the question was never really in mind, but something that I've considered a lot.
I've been thinking a lot about life. Thinking a lot about lattes. Not the Starbucks variety, more like the coffee bean and tea leaf.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like the coffee bean. It's good.
Next time on Steam
Well,
Grumps.
you should open that treasure chest first.
Oh, but I gotta do it next time on Game Room.
Oh, okay. You know.
No, it's true. If we're having fun, then people watching have fun.
That's true.
That's just how it is.
That's
how I've always made content, like cartoons and stuff.
I can't remember.
So if I think it's funny, then
I can't remember a time I've ever actively had a bad time while we were doing
Yeah,
programs.
typically
well, here's the thing, right? Like if
just
you
sharing your
have a bad
joys.
time-
If you're having a bad time, I can just hear you just like slipping into it accidentally. No, damn it.
if you're having a bad time,
Yep.
either making a let's play
Yes.
or a cartoon or a video or whatever,
Right.
and then it ends up being unsuccessful, then who wins? Nobody. But if you
But how did you fall off that end of the course?
don't know, but if you are having a good time
Mm-hmm.
making a let's play video, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't do very well, at least you had a good time.
That's a very good point. And like, whoa.
I mean, at least you did it with style.
Yeah.
And if you had a bad time and then it's successful, then you feel like shit.
That's shit.
Because then it's like, oh,
Good vibes create good vibes.
really? Is that what people like? Oh,
That's an interesting thought.
so
I had not considered it.
I mean, just gotta do what you love.
I do love doing this. What the hell have I? What the fuck?
That's why we need a 300 episode series of ice hockey. By the way, that
Oh my
flying saucer is flying way up in the air.
Is he?
Yeah, that's his shadow right there. See that?
Oh, no wonder I can't hit it. I'm going for like I had a depth perception problem there.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder how many people fucking.
Dang, I was
saw
in the
what I saw.
same.
Probably a lot, actually.
Yeah, I was so sure of it. I just thought he was like up on that like ridge there. I mean, that's why you do different things, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So-
well, that's just because I have ADD, but
Right.
I just get bored.
But also, like, at some point, like, you know, nothing lasts forever. So
Same,
if-
Aaron.
if
I
there's
got
ever, like, not
ADHD
enough
too.
interest in the show or we continue, like, we'll have, you know, our other projects to like
Shit's
have
frustrating.
fun with, and you know, you just don't want to put everything in one basket because like everything can get taken away from you so quickly.
You gotta diversify your portfolio, man.
It's
Stock
true.
options.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm.
Well, I mean, like,
Dividends.
not even, and I'm not even saying like people would get tired of the show. Like, YouTube could just come out tomorrow and be like, the algorithm's different. Like, we're destroying everything.
Oh yeah, if I put all my eggs in the animation basket, which I did,
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people got fucked on that.
then yeah, you were screwed. Cause that was a decent living, making animations on YouTube.
Was it really?
Yeah, totally.
That's sad.
It was. I mean, it was more than a decent living. It was very comfortable living.
Hmm.
And then it was stripped completely, and now it's like barely a living.
Oh, dude. Ross. I watched Ross's video
Wow.
finally, like top to bottom, about that whole situation. Ross is like surprisingly. Oh, I love your little tippy toes.
Yeah,
Ross is surprisingly eloquent when he cares about something.
yeah.
He's such a douchebag most of the time.
He is passionate about specific things,
Yeah,
not the least of which is animation.
it's he's an interesting guy.
I'd fuck him.
Well, I have fucked him.
Part of me wishes sometimes that I was like in a bad place again.
Oh, because it gave you more drive?
Yeah, it was like I gotta do this, you know, and like
Mm.
I don't know, I still work pretty hard.
Dude, I have good news for you.
Yeah,
If you're wishing you were in a bad place again,
yeah,
you're probably actually in a bad place already.
really.
Yeah, that's not a healthy way to think.
Oh,
Like, that means you're feeling spent creatively.
Huh.
Or, like, unmotivated.
I can't keep 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Off. So like, how am I gonna fucking if I really like it? How am I gonna like be like, well, you know, maybe just one more?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the same.
That's a weird mindset, but I feel like I could fall into that too. Just like I'm not in the best place right now, but you know, I'm finishing up school. I'm trying to do some things and spending some time on this Twitch thing for fun. You know, using it to vent. Or finish my video games. And like, I try to stay motivated to like get to a better place. But I wonder if that better place actually exists. I don't know. Or if when I get to that better place, will I keep wanting to work at all, or... Where's the motivation once you get there? I don't know, it's tough.
Same with like drugs and stuff.
Especially with
Like, I don't
depression.
know if you weed 'cause-
Oh, you
Depression and
will eat.
anxiety
yeah,
be
like,
screwing
well,
with
not
your
only
head a
that,
lot.
Like, I think I would probably love it.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, of course you
and
would.
I don't want it to like rule my life.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
That's understandable. It really doesn't unless you have an addictive personality, which I don't think you do.
I guess so. I do get over things easily. I will say like I would say I had a lot of like hoarder mentalities. Like I was very like I don't want to throw this away. I just want to put it somewhere.
Right.
But then I read a book by Marie Kondo called The Life-Changing Art of Tidying Up or some shit like that.
Right.
And just after reading it, I was like, well, I don't have those tendencies anymore. Like, gone completely.
Really?
I'm just like, throw it all out. I don't care.
Wow.
So I guess like my psychosis is like that can turn on a dime.
Is it?
I don't know, I hate throwing things away. I like to hold on to little memories and things, and I guess that's why I could never fully jump away and start over somewhere fresh. I get too attached.
That idea of like you don't own your possessions own you, like that kind of thing.
No, not explicitly. It's just sort of like, why? Just like, just think of it rationally. Like, are you ever gonna fucking use these things?
Right. Right.
Like, do you really? Well, her mentality is, does it spark joy?
Oh
So
yeah.
If you, her philosophy
Right.
is you can hold something in your hands, and then you can feel like the emotion that it gives you.
Right.
And if it doesn't give you like a rush of joy,
I've actually gotten rid of a lot of things as I've gotten older because they don't spark joy anymore. Or things that I've held on to for some reason that made me sad or uncomfortable or triggered some sense of dysphoria I have. Where I finally was like, I gotta get rid of this. This isn't good for me. I don't need this. Not even that it was something negative too. Sometimes it was just, I don't feel for this anymore. I don't need this. You just kind of have to remind yourself that, like, look through your things. Do I need this? Do I want this here? Do I really want this?
then you don't need it in your
Yeah,
That's
keeps you from
interesting, 'cause there's like a parallel,
pointlessly hoarding.
I think I told you I'm reading this book called 10% Happier, which is so fucking cool. Because I've gotten, I mean, you know this, I've gotten into meditation pretty heavily lately.
Right.
And 10% Happier was the book that got me into it. And one of the things he touches on in that book is that, like, you know, if you have qualities like OCD, which are like repetitive thoughts that like annoy you, and like, you know, like
Intrusive
the-
thoughts, I have
a good
those a
thing
lot.
to do is to check in with yourself, like, is this useful, you know, like,
Mhm.
because like one of the things he talks about is like he's a newscaster for ABC, and he was afraid that if he did meditation, he would like lose his edge that like makes him work hard and
Right.
like rise to the top. He's like, what if I just become like super happy with my life and then really complacent?
Yeah.
But it's not like that at all. You don't. You just become happier. Like, and that's what he finds out. He finds out that these thoughts of like constantly comparing himself to other people and like, you know, the stuff he thought was motivating him is actually just making him unhappy. You know.
Wow.
And yeah, so like, that's
that's the thing he comes back to over and over. He's like, is this thought useful? And if it's not, then he's like, all right, then I'll stop fucking thinking it then. You know? Yeah.
I hope I can
it's
get
kind
to
of
a
like
point
the
where
mental
I
version of what you're talking
realize
about
that.
physically.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
I should read that book.
It's an outstanding book.
I'll read it next time on Game Grumps.
Okay. It's going to be a very boring episode of Game Grumps. Just us reading with no face cam.
And just,
Yeah. Not playing video games.
me too.
Love you guys.
I hope you have a wonderful day. Not you, Dan, the audience.
Okay.
And I hope you all remember to brush your teeth.
Please do.
If you don't,
It's important.
you will get a bad case of gingivitis,
Truth.
and the plaque will create cavities, and that's no fun. You'll be biting into something, and it'll hurt a lot. And there's no reversing that.
Next time on...
Fun fact, my teeth were actually really bad for a while because I wasn't taking care of myself at all. Because my depression and dysphoria and everything was just so awful. All of my health I threw out the window because I didn't care anymore. It was really bad.
Game Grumps. Well, you sure know how to end shit with a bang, bro.
We should just end every Game Grumps episode with
Like a dental
PSA.
public service message.
It's important to remind
Aw,
people.
fiend.
You don't know what people are going through, like the things I was going through. Sometimes they need to be reminded. Like, they say it as a joke here, but honestly, I think, like, YouTubers like this that would randomly throw out a PSA, like, drink water, brush your teeth, eat healthy, you know, because sometimes you just need to hear that from something outside your own head that's telling you it's not important.
Thanks for joining us, and eat your peas.
Bye, everybody.
Wait, just give me a
Even
second.
as a joke, it's still,
Just 1 second.
it meant a lot to me.
Welcome to Game
I
Grumps,
don't care.
where we accept our limitations, embrace failure, and really are at peace with how much we suck.
Yeah. Well, that's how you live life. I mean,
Got to accept who you
nobody's
are.
perfect.
Wow.
So you just have to accept the imperfections of your life and understand that they're beautiful.
Wow, that was a really fucking deep, nice way to tie that together. Meanwhile,
All about self-acceptance, baby.
we're acting like a bunch of idiots. We're at the ice field of Mario
Yeah,
Galaxy.
you know what? It's like, I'm not gonna be fucking MLG Pro at Game Grumps. And I'm just gonna have a good time with my friend Dan and all the people watching.
That's really nice.
And
And no one will be upset.
no, well,
Mhm.
some people will be upset, but
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
that's their problem.
In fact, I like to believe that as I'm saying these exact words, someone is typing angrily in reference to you right now.
well, that's all.
You can't stop that
Isn't
from
weird
happening.
thought That like we've put enough videos out there that literally at every second of every day, someone is out there somewhere shitting on us mercilessly.
Yeah, that is a weird thought. Oh boy.
Ooh, very nice.
Thanks. I like my backflips. I do them all the time. I've been practicing. Dude, I want to show you my sick cartwheel when we're done downloading. Playing video games.
Like a real cartwheel?
Yeah, I can do a cartwheel.
Can you?
Yeah, dude.
I used to be able to do a cartwheel. I lost that ability when I stopped taking care of my health.
Really? I'll teach you.
I don't want to learn.
Taking care of it now, though. No worries.
Why? It's fun.
Okay.
Doing cartwheels is liberating.
I don't like putting myself in a position where like if I like lose my concentration, like I can hit the ground neck first. Like that's just
I think that's just life, dude.
yeah. I guess you're
Life anywhere can slam you on your neck.
right.
I mean, what fucking concentration is there to lose when you're in the middle of a sick cartwheel? It's not as if you're gonna fucking. What the hell? What?
Like just making the decision to go after your dreams and trying to achieve them.
It's fucking tough. I have dreams. I I want to do some art shit. I want to do designs. It's so hard to muster up the bravery to put yourself out there. It's so fucking hard. Just to apply at places. Like, I'm still in school, so like, I'm trying to finish up these courses. But those are gonna be over soon, and then, like, how do you even get a job in design? I don't even know. Like, what's my path? I'm not one of those people, I don't plan out my path because I don't want to be disappointed, but like, I'm doing the best I can to direct myself in the right direction. You know, I'm putting together the portfolio step by step as I go. And I just hope I can get somewhere with my life. Or make a difference in some way, you know? Hope that, like, even the people who end up watching me here on Twitch, maybe I can help them in some way with my rants, or I don't know. I haven't slept in a couple days. It's kind of hard for me to put my thoughts together.
Is a lot like trying to navigate your way through a zombie-filled mall.
Yeah.
It is a good metaphor for anything, like any really difficult undertaking.
I used to have dreams that, like, I would wake up in my bed and my house was, like, slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody wanted to kill me.
Whoa,
Like,
weird.
everybody outside and, like, everybody in the house.
That's a bummer.
And I was just like, oh, geez, where do I go?
I used to have dreams that I was jacking off, and then I woke up and it was true. Next time on Game Grumps.
Yeah, I used to have weird dreams about just being chased. Or sometimes I would have, like, those dreams where you're being chased and then right when they catch you, that's when you wake up. But I've also had dreams where, like, they do catch me and I actually dream, like, pain and being murdered. And then I wake up and I'm like, holy shit. It's scary shit. Yeah, I've had some scary dreams. Now I just can't sleep though.
That's how you have to come to terms with, like, you know, when it's like, oh, it's so hard to start, and I'm so bad at
Yeah.
I'm so bad at drawing. You know, people are like, I can't draw.
You're not bad at fuck.
And it's like, you know what? All you have to do is start drawing.
Yep. And then you'll get better.
And,
You can't not get better at something if you do it every day.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just about constant practice, constant putting yourself out there. Like, I've been drawing since I was, like, 3. And just steadily improving. Drawing, like, Goku and shit over and over and over. And then figuring out how to draw other characters. And
Could you imagine a world where people didn't get offended about shit?
I feel like maybe nothing would get done.
What, really?
Yeah, because we'd all just be chilling out.
I feel like everything would get done.
No, but, like, I don't know. Wanting something means that something is awry. I think the only things that we naturally want are, like, love and food and shelter.
How about this?
Well,
What if
sex
there was a
and food and
What if there
shelter.
was a world where people didn't get offended about stupid shit that's no big deal?
All right, then everything would be great.
interesting take. People complain a lot that people are, like, too sensitive and get offended, but I kind of like Aaron's take. Like, that's how change really happens. Is when you talk about the things that bother you and you start directing your energy to change that.
Pattern of being like, nope, I don't want anything, you know. And I feel like it wasn't a choice of mine that I was making.
Oh,
I was,
yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's a choice, and I'm like, okay, I'm choosing not to do it.
Yeah, you'd rather be in control of your own life.
Yeah.
Which is totally cool.
I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to me at least.
No,
No, it makes perfect sense. I've been around a lot of stuff like that for pretty much all my life. You know, it's you can only control so much, and it's nice to keep control of those things that you can be in control of.
it makes sense to me too. There's, you know, you and I have learned this in psychology. There's two reasons people do anything. One is because they authentically want to do it, and the other is because
Compulsion.
Well, yeah, well, exactly. Well,
I know, but it's a thing, and I'm just fixated on it because I have low self-esteem.
yeah, Vernon loves to
that's
tell
what
people
I'm-
how he has low self-esteem.
Yeah.
He constantly refers to low self-esteem as his brand. Like, Vernon, what are you
That
doing?
is so on brand for me.
That is
right?
so
Same.
He says that shit all the
Yeah.
time.
Low self-esteem be so on brand.
Don't let that be your brand, Vernon. Self-esteem.
Yeah. It actually hurts your life.
Yeah, it's
I
unhealthy.
don't care how many Twitter followers it begets. A baguette sandwich.
You guys making bread witches in here? Yeah, you did it, Aaron.
I fucking did it. You know I fucking did it.
Yeah, one up.
I didn't get 100 coins by the end though.
You didn't. You sure didn't.
But who gives a fuck? You know?
I mean,
Who gives a
everybody
fuck?
watching.
It's not about coins in this world, you know. It's about how happy you are. Success isn't measured by your bank account. It's measured by your experiences and your love for yourself.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about some transgender things, so I looked up some questions off of Reddit. This one's from someone who's MTF, so it's kind of the opposite end that I'm from, but are you concerned with bottom surgery? I mean, it's something that, it being functional, it's something that trans individuals consider very in-depth on their own before deciding on. And they decide what's important to them and what kind of surgery they need to get. This one's sort of about topping as a trans female, but in regards to me, it was hard for me to be very intimate with anyone for a long while. I think now I could be in a relationship with someone, but if you ever date a trans person, it is very, very difficult, and it's important for you to communicate what they are comfortable with and what they are not. What was it like as a child before transitioning? As a child, you don't really pay attention to it the same way. It doesn't really fit in your head as I was trans so much, but there are certain things that definitely stick out. For me, my experience was I was born female, and I had all of these brothers, and I was like the only girl, and it sort of perpetuated me feeling special. So I held on to this, I need to be special, I need to be the girl my parents wanted sort of feeling, and I felt this pressure to be something that I knew I wasn't. And that was the hardest thing for me growing up, was being quote unquote the only girl in the family, and trying to live up to that in order to make my family proud. Probably officially realized I was trans without knowing what trans was, I realized probably when I was 11 or 12, I just started dreaming of waking up or switching bodies with someone with a male body so that I could be happy, so I could confidently join a sport. I always wanted to play soccer, but I didn't feel comfortable. I was an aggressive player in middle school, and someone called me out on that, and it made me feel insecure, like I wasn't allowed to be an aggressive player. So I used to dream of switching bodies. That way I could be more comfortable and play in these sports I've always wanted to play in. Worst dysphoria. It's hard to rank, really. There are different moments when different dysphoria seems the worst. Currently, my anxiety, social anxiety, has been causing me the most issues. My main dysphoria was about my chest. But I have gotten surgery, and I pass a lot better now. And for the most part, I'm doing okay with dysphoria. Do you have any concerns about white cis men being treated like second-class citizens? It is definitely something of an issue I've had, personally, being recognized as male more openly. There's a lot of people that assume I'm like more privileged than I am, I guess. And I feel like a lot of the privilege people try to assume cis men have are privileges that it's just rich kids have, not necessarily cis men. You know? And it's just any assumption you put on a person when you first see them is not good. But I mean, I don't think they're treated as second-class citizens. It's not that extreme. If I were an animal, what animal would I be? I think I'd be a fox. I like foxes. Yeah. What makes you think you can change genders? What makes me think I can change genders is that I could just take testosterone and my voice is deeper and do a few surgeries and pass okay. Obviously, when I find a girl who I want to settle down with, I'll tell her what I am up front. You know, I'm not going to be hiding it. I'm just going to be trying to live my life how I want to live it. And it's not so much about changing genders as it is learning to live with myself and be comfortable with who I am. And be recognized as how I want to be recognized. And then there's this huge debate here that I don't want to go into about chromosomes and shit. This isn't what I want to talk about. How did I realize I wanted to be male instead of female? I realized, I mean, I kind of always knew I wanted to be male instead. You know, I would play these Pokemon games. We only had one Game Boy and one copy of the Pokemon game, and I had 3 older brothers, so I didn't really get a save. I didn't have a save file. But every time I would play, I would really think about the options of the male avatar or the female one for a long time. And I just felt right with the male avatar more. I mean, sure, you could argue maybe the design was just better for the male, but it was more than that. And I knew it was more than that. That's why anytime someone came in while I was playing on that Pokemon save, I would close it out real quick and act like I was done playing, or try to hide it. Or if I was playing around my siblings, I would force myself to pick the female. Because I wanted to be the perfect daughter. Even though I wasn't happy with that. Because I thought it would make others happy. So it's something I always knew that I wanted. And then it wasn't until like middle school that I really understood, like, okay, I'm really uncomfortable with being female. To you, what does it mean to be trans? To me, it means specifically to want to transition from one gender to the other. And having this gender dysphoria. Non-binary is kind of in a whole nother category for me. Trans to me is that desire I've been explaining. To be the other gender. And then what are thoughts on non-binary? I believe a third gender should be allowed to be displayed, you know? I mean, you're probably going to be assumed one or the other, normally. But, like, for the most part, just do your best to surround yourself with the people that will respect you and call you what you want to be called. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't hurt anyone to live your life however you want to be presented as. Have I met a transgender who had the wrong motives for the change? I don't think so. I mean, what's a wrong motive? Most people don't change willy-nilly, you know, they change because that's what will make them happy, or what they believe will make them happy, and I don't think it's right to call that a wrong motive. Yeah. And then this person asks, all I've ever heard about are struggles specifically of trans women. What are the struggles you face as a trans man? Thing specifically about being a trans man is, I've had friends that tried to help and, be supportive of me, but then they do it in the wrong way. Or people will often trivialize without meaning to that, like, and say things like, specifically feminists. I don't hang out with a lot of feminist type people that are super in that crowd, because they tend to say things about how they hate men or men are awful, and then they'll look at me and be like, oh, but you're different because you're trans. It's like, that just makes me feel worse and points out more dysphoria I have. So I don't really hang out with that crowd anymore. As supportive as it was to have them around at first, it overall just hurt me more than it helped in the end. Or even just other guys who I've told I was trans to usually accept me pretty well. They don't really care. Just like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, I think the worst part is just the hate men tend to get, and then how people tend to, women in particular, put trans men in a different box, whether on purpose or not. To what do you attribute to rapidly accelerating cases of trans people or rapid onset gender dysphoria? Well, this is tricky because for me, I didn't have a lot of clear prior signs myself, but that was because I was so afraid to come out and say anything. I was so bottled up in this belief that I had to be this perfect daughter and force myself into some unhappy life in order to satisfy what other people wanted me to be. You know, sometimes there are no prior signs that you can see from the outside that a person has been struggling with for years. I was struggling with it all through middle school and high school mostly, and I didn't come out till I was 18. Like, it's an internal struggle above all else, I think. So it's hard to say if it's rapid onset with just people randomly coming out. But there are some issues with, I think with people confusing younger children about it. A younger child shouldn't be questioning it so strongly. You know, they should be free to explore their gender expression or do whatever they want with that, but just don't push that they are transgender officially until they tell you. And then discuss that with them. Because I guarantee if they come out as transgender, they've probably been thinking about it for a very long time. And did you have a hard time accepting it at first? Yes, I had an incredibly hard time accepting it. I grew up religious too, and I had those preconceived notions, and I sort of avoided the LGBT community completely growing up because I was afraid to accept. I was afraid to accept that I liked females, even. I was just terrified to step out of the norm because I knew it wasn't accepted among most Christians. You know, there was a certain path you had to take. I mean, my family luckily is very accepting regardless of their religious beliefs. But going to church, other Christians aren't so much. And I think that's where it got really hard for me to accept it. And then, are there brands of binders that are cheap but good quality? There's a couple that were... I mostly got mine off of Amazon, looking up cheap binders. They were never the best. I didn't take my measurements correctly when I did need a binder, because it would make me too dysphoric to try to take those measurements, and I hated it. So I usually just figured out what was close enough to what I needed and went with that. Probably not the safest thing, but, you know, at least I used a binder. Did people react how I expected or wanted? My friends were relatively accepting. You know, they kind of questioned it a little bit, like, wow, really? But overall, they, you know, they're like, it's your choice, though, you know. And then I don't really talk to my dad anymore. Then again, I didn't really talk to him before I came out either, so. I have brothers who aren't really accepting of it, but my mom was. She was accepting. She had some trouble with it as it went on, but she did her best to be as supportive as she could and paced herself into it, which I really appreciate, even though she finds it really hard to understand. And then how do I react when people misgender me? I usually don't make too much of a big deal about it, because hey, it happens. I mean, it happens to people who aren't transgender at all sometimes. You know, people make these assumptions. And that's okay, you know. And it doesn't happen to me much anymore. Yeah, I pass pretty well. I think it happened to me like a couple months ago once with this one random guy, which I don't really know why. But then he heard my voice and then he was like, oh, sorry. Like, I don't know. Guess my face is just a little too round still, you know. Too feminine looking. But, you know, I care about the people I interact with more regularly. And they don't misgender me, you know. They know who I am. And that's what's important. Now, what's the difference between being a trans man versus a lesbian? Well, they're not the same thing at all, really. Lesbians are typically are still confident in being women. They enjoy their body, you know, they enjoy other women's bodies. Trans men might like women, but they might not. You know, they may be gay. You know, into guys still. And trans men will typically get top surgery in order to alleviate their gender dysphoria. And then it depends on if they want to achieve further surgery for that bottom area. But there's a huge difference, and I don't appreciate people calling trans men lesbians. It's uncomfortable and wrong to attribute them to being the same, because they're not. Like I said, if anyone ever dates a trans man, you have to be any trans person really, very careful about being intimate with them and what they're comfortable with. Yeah, I guess those are all the questions I had. Felt nice to vent about it.